Hey everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. Like and subscribe if you want to see motorcycles, classic cars, classic trucks, my cab over semi truck, boat motors, billet runs on whatever kind of crap I got laying around, which is a bunch. You'll see a lot of it. If you comment on what you want to see more of, I'll make more videos of that. Cab over so far has been by far the most watched. Just like and subscribe, help out the channel and make it feel like it's actually something worth doing. The other thing I'm way into, as you can see, is junk like this. Anything old vintage motorcycles, three-wheelers, not really into quads, but I don't know, they're just not old enough. But old enduros, street bikes, basically any bike built prior to probably 1985. My favorites being the aluminum, steel fender bikes, chrome spoke wheels, cafe racers, enduros, obviously, trail bikes, three-wheelers. First motorized thing I ever owned was a ATC110 that my uncle bought me for $50 back when I lived in Illinois. They lived here in Oklahoma, and they cleaned the tank out for me and brought it up to Illinois for me. Gave it to me, I think it was my birthday. Somebody had welded a little angle iron tow bar on the back, which doubled as a really good wheelie bar. And I had a lot of fun with that thing. Sold it when I was 13, 14 when I bought my pickup truck that I'll show you in another video at some point in time. I put it in what here is called the bargain post. It's an old paper publication for buying and selling stuff. It's long gone now, obviously, but put it in there for $500 and I was gone. I don't remember where I was, probably running around with a girlfriend or whatever. And like the first guy that called on it, or maybe the second, offered my dad half of what I was asking, and Dad sold it for $250. ATC110 now, you're not going to touch one for less than $1,000. It's in equal condition to the one I had. So, that one down there is a ATC110 picked up about a year ago. What we're looking at here is a 79, I believe, ATC110, a 74 Suzuki TC100, and this one here is a 73 or 4 Honda SL350 that I picked up recently. This is a complete barn find bike. It does run, but runs on about 1.5 cylinders. Haven't tried to mess with getting it started. It's completely restored, but it's excellent condition. This one's I've owned before. This was in my family for probably 30 years, 40 years maybe, long time. And I sold it, well actually I gave it away. So I had 2 other bikes that I sold this guy, and then this just came along with it for free back when I got married the first time in 2004. And I never had tried to get it started. Been sitting in the barn for years. It just wasn't worth anything to me as a teenager. I regretted it ever since. I think there was a broken transmission. One of the gears wouldn't work, or a couple of the gears wouldn't work. So I just gave it away, regretted it big time, and then I looked and looked and looked and looked for it, you know, on Facebook Marketplace. Finally found it 5 or 6 years ago, popped up. It had been completely bastardized, re-engined, and I'll explain that more in a little bit. The little 110, picked that up for $300. It had a really wide and low profile quad tire on one side and a big fat balloon one on the other, so it would only ride in circles. Did really good circles one way and wouldn't go the other direction at all. You can go anywhere you want as long as it was in a right hand turn. But it runs pretty good, starts, the lights work. I don't like the plastic gas tank. I'd like to find an original metal one. My only complaint with that thing is somebody put some cheap crap Asian knockoff carburetor on it. It just don't get it done. I mean, it starts and runs, but it just, the originals are so much better than this $30 eBay garbage. But I guess for today, we'll focus on the one I've had the longest. So I'll wheel this thing. This being the one that, you know, I've had an attachment to for forever. What happened with this bike, like I said, was the transmission was broke. And I don't know that for sure because I never messed with it when I was a teenager. This is actually a motor off of a TS90, which was the next size down bike. The guy I bought it from was about redneck country bumpkin you ever seen in your life. I actually bought 3 bikes. I bought this, another TS90 that is a parts bike that I'm going to restore as well. I really like it. I'll show it to you someday. It needs total restoration. And then some Kawasaki parts bike that I sold immediately for 50 bucks or whatever it was. This I paid 250 bucks for. It ran poorly. It still doesn't run that great. It's never been torn down that I know of, and needs crank seals, and it's real easy to flood, even though I've tried a couple of carburetors on it. It just, compression's good. Shortly after I got it, I was riding it across the yard and heard some clinking, and then it died. And I tore the head off, tore the jug off, and what had happened is one of the circlets popped off of the piston pan, and it got out and wedged in between the ports and the cylinder wall, trashed the piston, trashed the jug. So I found an oversized jug with an oversized used piston stuck in there and was back on the road. This being a TC100, what it should have is a 10cc larger engine. It should have an exhaust pipe that comes out at an angle, comes down, and goes up right here. And I have the original motor that came on this bike. The guy had just pulled off, said it ran great. When he got it started, just 1 or 2 of the gears just broke. I have the exhaust pipe. What it has now is, like I said, the TS90 engine and cylinder head assembly, and the TS90 exhaust on the wrong side. And in putting it over here, there should be a yellow side cover here too. Now the stupidest part of this whole deal was the effort that the guy that owned it went through basically to bastardize this bike. The bottom end, like this whole assembly, will bolt in to a TC90, TC100. The bolt patterns are interchangeable. The difference being the jug and the exhaust port location. On a TC100, the frame, there's a single tube right down the middle, and then it splits down here. And the exhaust port is keyed right over here, like 20 degrees, dead center where this is. So the exhaust comes out like that. Well, this guy, instead of fixing all he would have had to do was pull the engine out, split the cases, replace whatever gears or whatever forks were broke or bent, and put it back together, would have been fine. I mean, this thing's low miles, the frame is super clean, underneath the seat's clean, I'll show you in a minute. It was a really cherry bike, but he didn't feel comfortable, I guess, tearing the motor apart, so he got a sawzall and he chopped the frame here, chopped it here, and chopped it here, and then took his bike that this motor came out of and did the exact same thing, chopped it here and here, so he wouldn't have to put a different jug on it and rearrange the port. He probably could have just put the this port, or put the TC100 head and jug and piston right directly on this motor and not had to do any cutting or chopping, but like I said, not very bright. Anyways, so he put this lower engine frame cradle in there, just booger welded the crap out of it. Literally, he filled probably 3/8 gap on both sides of the frame here. Just nasty, ugly booger welds. Just a horrible hack job. I ride this around and enjoy it. I'm a little afraid of the sketch welding on the chassis, which I'll show you. I've got a frame for this bike, a real good frame. Like I said, I've got the exhaust, I got the correct engine, but I mean, I probably won't do anything with it until this motor craps out. Then I'll have a reason to. This bike will be easy to restore. It's in excellent condition. So I'll show it to you. Okay, let me show you this booger welding we got going on. You can see here where he chopped the original frame And you can see here where he booger welded the crap out of the TC90 frame, or TS90, whichever it was. And then right here where he done the same thing. Just complete hack. Destroyed a good frame for absolutely no reason. But this bike's, it's super dirty from sitting in the shop. It's a body shop. It gets lots of crap, but 2,800 miles. Everything works except the turn signals. I'll show you underneath the seat. Look how clean that thing is. I mean, the whole bike's just clean. Dustier than hell, but I mean, this bike was just cherry. I can't believe that idiot chopped it all up. I shouldn't be mean. But anyways, just aggravating, you know, it was in the family for all those years, and to see it, something like this done to it, it's kind of annoying. But it's got decent original seat, got a little split in it. You can buy seat covers for these pretty cheap, but I don't know, can't bring myself to do it. It looks cool. Good headlight and headlight bucket. Got one end broke off of this, and the selector switch broke. Here's our nice TS90 exhaust. This should be on the other side of the bike. And anyways, this being a TC90 engine, it has a high-low range selector. If you don't know what that is, it's essentially an 8-speed. You just can't use all 8 at the same time. You can only use 4. So it's got a low range, flip it one way, which is what it is now, and you've got 4 low gears. Flip it the other way, and you've got 4 high gears. So it's real noticeable, like especially taking off first gear, the difference between high first and low first. It's a fun bike to ride. I'm really looking forward to doing a proper restoration on this thing at some point in time. It's already solid, so the better vehicle you start with, the easier and cheaper they are to build. So this one was well taken care of. If I'd have kept it, it would be already restored probably. It's in pretty good condition, but at least I have the original motor and stuff and can put it back to its original condition. I've got a bunch of other vintage bikes, including the 110, the SL350. Let me know if you want to see anything on these. I'll probably do another video on them later anyways. I also have a bunch of other stuff. I've got some Honda Express mopeds. I've got Suzuki moped that runs. I've got a Yamaha QT50. I've got a Suzuki T10 250. I've got a Suzuki X6 Hustler twin garage find that I never got running. Suzuki TS185, TC125, a Honda GL650 Silverwing that I'm gonna turn into kind of a sort of a cafe racer bike. So if any of that stuff you're interested in, just put it in the comments. And if you like my video and you want to see more motorbikes, dirt bikes, just let me know. I'd appreciate a like and a subscription if you don't mind. I don't have many now, but I sure appreciate the ones who have subscribed already. Thanks, have a good one.